Hi, this is Cathy Piciulo with the Kenmore Town of Tonawanda Chamber of Commerce. And one of our health topics is about your social media health. And this is something that we're working with Viral Edge Social, a not brand new business, but up and coming, I'll say. They've been making waves for sure. But as the Chamber of Commerce, what we've been doing here recently is highlighting and focusing on the health of our business community. So we're bringing in all kinds of topics that we consider something that would impact your health. So in this case, though, it is your social media health, which is extremely important to your business. So today, Desmond Johnson, who is the first one of these gentlemen that I met originally, and Allan Halas. I'm going to change his name. And Mike Dudek have been working together now for a couple of years, and I'll let them explain how that all happened. But I wanted to ask a couple of questions, but I'll start by, just letting you tell us a little bit about, and Allan, I think this goes to you, a little bit about Viral Edge.
Yeah, so first of all, Des, Mike, and I, we went to college together at Fredonia, established a real close friendship. And from there, we just talked a lot about starting a business up and social media from our past experiences at other jobs. It just felt and sounded like the right thing to do at the time. So here we are, a year within the business, and it's a lot of learning experiences for sure, even with the experience we have, because essentially we are bootstrapping. We're building this company from scratch. We don't have any type of funding. So we just started at zero, and we've got our collective clients now. We have about 20 clients, and really trying to go in growth mode now and build something beautiful here and give back to the community. And it's been hell of a ride so far, and definitely excited to see where it takes us.
Well, that's exciting. Well, I'll jump right into our questions, and you can decide who wants to answer what here. But so the first question is, how have you seen people's social media health change or been affected over the last 2 years?
I think that's a great question, because it could go either way. I mean, my perspective, the way I look at it, I think since COVID, social media has really helped a lot of people to cope with the effects, especially with being quarantined or locked up or put in a situation where they have to now work remote. As with anything, you can't overdose, and you need to have a healthy limit and set expectations. But overall, without social media, I think a lot more people would be in a worse situation for sure. Especially when you relate that to the business side of things, since a lot more people are on social media, you can run ads, and there's going to be a lot more eyeballs and people buying more so than ever. So that's really how we try to look at it, being a social media advertising business.
Fantastic. And so let's go around the room a little bit too. My question is, what are 3 tips or pieces of advice that you would offer to someone who is looking to improve their social media health in 2022? So Allan, we could start with you, but a tip or piece of advice that you could offer. This is your freebie to people. What's some good stuff you've been telling, some of your clients?
Yeah, I think since you do have eyeballs and attention on there, to definitely take advantage of that, because as business owners, I think the last thing we need to worry about, or you need to worry about, is where your next customer or client is coming from. You want to focus on the operations, the right hiring. You already have 1,000 other things going on. I think with with everything going on right now, it's trying to lose. It's like I compare it to trying to lose or gaining weight. I think with social media, you need to set healthy limitations and say to yourself, whether you write it down in a journal or just create a habit and say, okay, I will not stay up till 5 a.m. binge watching Squid Game, or I will do other things and spending 12 hours a day sitting in my computer chair in front of a computer, or I won't spend my life savings on Amazon. You know, you need to have those healthy expectations and be willing to hold yourself accountable, because at the end of the day, it comes down to personal decisions too. Even though social media is addicting because it's like the whole entire world, but you need to have your own expectations too and set those.
Desmond,
Absolutely.
what do you think about a tip or a piece of advice that you'd offer to somebody?
So one tip I would say is, we live in a world, especially with TikTok being very popular, we live in a world of a lot of copycats. We see a lot of people who will do the same thing over again because someone else went viral for it, or even do something dumb because they saw someone go viral for it. I think a big thing people need to always keep in mind is to continue using their personality and to be original. And even though you can hop on some trends, always make it your own if you're going to do something, and just keep your social medias personal, because people like, not personal in the sense of like letting too much information out, but personal in the sense of letting your personality out, because people always gravitate to someone who they feel is real instead of someone who's copying something someone else did. So I would say just continue to be original, and that would be my tip, is to don't copy everything, you know, actually go by and put your own spin on things. People will enjoy it more and appreciate it more.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that is good. How about Mike?
I would say my advice would be, this kind of goes hand in hand with mental health, is just kind of remember that not everything you see on social media is reality. You know, you see people posing in pictures, and you see people, you know, looking perfect and at the perfect beach, and, you know, eating the perfect meals or whatever it might be. And just remember, that's like a snippet of their life, and they're able to edit that, and they're able to put that out there when they want it, how they want that to be perceived. And it's tough, because I know even myself, I can fall into the trap of, you know, seeing someone and being like, man, I wish I had that. I wish I did this. I wish I was able to travel as much as they do, when you really don't always know the circumstance of that person. I mean, you could have someone who, yeah, maybe they traveled, you know, a lot 5 years ago, and they're just recycling pictures now. Like, you know, there's something along those lines. Or you have someone who is, I mean, I always thought this was interesting. You might have someone who's running like a fashion blog or something along those lines, and they have 2 outfits, brand new outfits every day that they're posting. Well, I mean, how do you know that they're actually buying those outfits? How do you know that they're actually, like, you know, doing those things? And it's more of a flex where, yeah, maybe, okay, sure, I could buy an outfit right now. I could wear it. I could post it on social media, leave the tags on or edit the tags out, you know, and then just return it the next day. So it's important, I really think, to keep things in perspective, you know, when it comes to social media. Understand that it is, you know, not always what it seems when it comes to people posting and that.
And I've recently been seeing all that with these filters. I'll look at, you know, they have that whole thing with the filters, and people be like, what? This isn't me, you know, you know, this kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And oh my God. I mean, I've tried a couple. I mean, everybody does, you know, and I'm like, okay, you know, this does not look like me. And so I take a screenshot and get rid of it, you know, and then, but it's weird. And yeah, that stuff's that's wild. And then for a business though, if they're trying to cut through the clutter themselves and they want to be part of social, you know, they're feeling the pressure, they need to be on social media. What's some of the best things that they can do, right, you know, to have a healthy social media presence in 2022?
Yeah, so I would say, just to start off, business owners have to always remember it is social media. So to continue having a healthy relationship, you have to be engaging with the people who would be your customers or fans or the community on the platforms that they're using. So, I mean, whether it's commenting and liking and actually being real, not looking like a robot, just saying, I was like, oh, nice picture. Like, you got to actually look at what they're posting, you know, say something meaningful about it so that they know as a business, you're actually there and watching and caring instead of just it being, oh, we're here, buy our stuff. You know, everyone has the same stuff. You know, there's people who can make AirPods. You can buy another pair on Amazon. They're $30. Like, it doesn't matter. They're the same headphones. But what makes them different is the amount that how you can get to somebody and the way you make them feel about it. So you have to really be social and engage so that you're in the community and people feel that you actually care about what they're saying or posting.
Yeah, great. I'm going to ask a kind of my bonus question, and this we can go around the room too. What new thing are you going to try or do differently this year? And we can go, it can be personal or it could be in business, because you guys are new to business, quote unquote, have this time under your belt. Everybody's always shifting and you know, pivoting and whatever. So it could have something to do with business, or it could have something to do with personal. But I've got the two guys on the main part of my screen here. So I'll start with you again. So what new thing are you going to try or do differently this year?
I mean, something for me that I've already started January 1st, and it's been tough. I've always been trying to work on my sleeping habits, going to bed earlier, because I mean, business ties into it too. I mean, being a business owner, I always have a lot on my mind, especially at night. So there's a lot of times I'm not falling asleep until 2, 3, 4 in the morning. You know, luckily I've kind of worked around that, but I made that top of my list to, I downloaded this one app. It's actually funny. It actually records you snoring. It records flatulence. So I hit play on the recorder, and I didn't realize I fart so much when I sleep. So there you go. But that I downloaded that app. That's really helped. But it's still not perfect, but definitely working on getting to bed earlier and making that a habitual thing.
One thing, and I'm going to interrupt a second. I know, Des, you're going to go next, but I took a trip to Sweden, and everybody in Sweden, because it's like the land of the midnight sun kind of a thing, they all wear masks to bed, every one of them. And you should try that. There's some there's a place on Hurdle Avenue, and I think it's called Start with Sleep or something like that. And there's other places you can get these, but they just have a nice one. But a mask just really does, it kind of keeps your eyes from opening for one thing, but if they do open, you're seeing black. And so that's my suggestion, is just my husband was one that I had already said, hey, how about a sleep mask? And he'd be like, oh, no. But then you go to a place like Sweden and everybody wears them. Everybody wears them. Then it was cool.
No, thank you for that. I'll definitely look into that for sure.
And I have one. I just don't use it. Honestly, I have one. I just don't ever really use it.
My husband doesn't sleep without it anymore. Me, I'm one of those, and don't hate me. If I'm horizontal, I'm asleep, period.
Sure.
That's it. So, Des, what's something new you're trying this year?
Even though we spoke about it earlier, just my side of being consistent. I mean, it can go in social media, it can go with anything in life, but just making sure that if I set my own goals that I'm trying to reach, that like I usually keep a daily journal too and try to write it every morning and read it every morning, but just making sure that I stick to it, because I know you do something, continuously, it's going to become a habit, and just creating those good habits as we go along, as I go along is my goal and what I've been trying to do. So that goes for everything, including social media, but just life in general.
Yeah, God bless you. Discipline is huge. That's huge, something I'm still working on. but let me change my view here. I don't know how this records, so I'm going to go back to gallery view. Mike, what's your new thing this year, 2022?
So my new thing this year is, kind of along the lines of what Des was saying when it comes to reading. I'm not the best or fastest reader, so I made myself a goal this year that instead I'm going to do minimum, I'm going to listen to one book a month on Audible, and I'm going to try and still read a book, but have that be a quarterly type thing. And that's just, again, minimum type basis. But it's important. It's important to read. It's important to, look through books that you find interesting in that. And I just it was just kind of like an aha moment at the end of last year where it's just like, well, why wouldn't I just listen to this? I know that it's important. I know I need to be doing it. So let's just make it easier on myself and, kind of have a little workaround.
Yeah, that works. I mean, the Audible stuff is great. I do know, and so it sounds like you're still thinking of actually reading a book, but just for and some people are very, audio and some are visual and some are both and whatever. But the one thing I learned from reading actual books is grammar, sentence structure, and spelling.
Mm-hmm.
And that does
That's
help.
true.
And
Absolutely.
that's all. You can't get that when you're doing it through
Sure.
Audible.
Mhm.
Because it's funny, I had somebody post something one day and she just had never seen the word. She thought she knew the word, but she posted something and she basically said, due to inclement weather, we're closed. And I said, no. She's like, yeah, and I'm like, no, it's inclement weather. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like crazy because I hate typos. But she basically just, you don't always see words. And so it was just, she put it out there wrong. She thought she had the right word, but she'd never seen it. She'd never seen it written. So that's just my 2 cents. I always have 2 cents. I usually have 10, so I'll keep it quiet. But thanks, because this little thing, and I may call you back at some point and try to do something a little, later into the spring, because I am trying to promote your business. Social media is huge. And your business, Viral Edge Social, I think pulls kind of it all together, which is kind of cool. And then our this video series being called New You 22. So it kind of all ties together. And you guys had a tough start based on the fact that, you started in a pandemic.
Mhm.
Who chose that, but from what I'm seeing, you're doing well. And I appreciate you guys joining the Chamber of Commerce. And I think that I want to definitely do more things, going forward to work with you, because I just think the three of you are really super talented, and it's exciting. So I'm going to, I'll stop the recording here and I'll say thank you, but just let me go up to the right here.